Today, the Nagaland Credit Empowerment Summit 2024 was held at Nune Resort, headed by the Chief Minister of Nagaland, Nipu Rio. And this involved a very long deliberation with banking representatives, high-level meeting more like this summit that was held here today. Now, after the summit was over, later in the evening, the Chief Minister, Nipu Rio, was supposed to speak to media persons at a press conference but was unavailable. So the Chief Secretary, J. Alam, the Chief Secretary of Nagaland, headed the press conference where he explained exactly what was discussed and what deliberation happened during the morning and afternoon hours. He had also said that the government wants to help extend credit facilities to 1,000 educational loans as well as 2,000 skill-based loans. Now, many schemes were launched today by the Chief Minister of Nagaland, Nipu Rio, during the summit, including a very important one that includes the police accident schemes, which with an insurance credit up to 75 lakhs. Let's have a look at today's press conference.
The Honorable Chief Minister has to meet the Union Minister who is visiting Nagaland. So he had to leave in a hurry. And that's why we three of us are here to brief the media about this today's meeting. We will be handing out a written note to all the media persons about the today's briefings. I'll request our Commissioner Secretary to So first of all, thank you very much for patiently waiting. It's a bit late in the evening. As I said, we had a very long deliberation with all the senior banking representatives. There were people from all the banks, all the financial institutions, from the business representatives, the associations from Nagaland, insurance companies, and we have had a very fruitful discussion. Certain areas of concern have been highlighted to the bankers, particularly about the need for improvement in the CD ratio. As we all know, the CD ratio in Nagaland is lower than the national average, and a challenge has been posed to all the banks to raise it at least up to the national average. Similarly, a major challenge has been given to the banks to extend credit facilities to at least 1,000 educational loans and 2,000 skill-based loans. That is another decision. Apart from that, the discussion about unbanked areas, increasing the number of branches, increasing the credit flow, all these discussions have taken place. Banks have expressed certain issues which have been duly taken note of, and the state government has assured that the necessary facilitation and help will be extended wherever is required. The meeting was also attended by our ground level officers, particularly the deputy commissioners from the districts, so that we get a perspective of what is happening on the ground. So these are some of the highlights of today's meeting. If you have any, would you like to say something? No, sir. Yeah. So if you have any further queries, we are here to answer it to the best of our ability. Yes.
Would you be a bit more specific about the issues raised by the banks here in Nagaland? What are the issues? What are the challenges they're facing? There are reports, in fact, these are facts. Non-performing assets in the banking sector.
Yes.
That's among the highest in Nagaland. So how is the state government seeking to address this?
So that's why one of the issues is the NPAs. For that, in fact, there has been a long discussion, and you see, there is a credit guarantee scheme that is called mm, yes, Credit Guarantee Fund Trust for Micro and Small Enterprises. Under this CGTMSE, up to 85% of the loan amount is actually guaranteed. So one can say that to the extent of 85%, the risk of the bank is covered. So with this facility, it is expected that the concern of the banks will be greatly addressed. The other issue that they have raised is about the lack of infrastructure in some remote districts where the kind of building, etc., that they want for opening their branches is not available. So we have taken note of that, and we have told them that we will also be giving instructions to deputy commissioners to extend all the necessary help, and wherever possible, these facilities will be made available.
So did they also quantify the NPAs in terms of rupees?
See, this was actually a high-level meeting, so that kind of micro discussion is not there. But they are saying that in some schemes the NPAs are higher, particularly the schemes which are supported by the Government of India programs like PMEG, PMEGP and certain other Government of India schemes. But otherwise, it's not an alarming situation.
No, you see, what has happened is banks are not willing to lend out to the public. And they always say that the excuse given is NPA, and that people are not in the habit of repaying loans. But then, what we have seen, in fact, is that the NPA percentage of the state is not that high, actually. And this is the report of the RBI given and shared during the SLBC meeting in which month?
So it was in February 2023.
February of last year. And you all know RBI is the custodian of banking. So we cannot dispute the figures of RBI. Now the government's reaction to this, and because banks have always said this, that all loans are turning bad, as Chief Secretary has said, and in fact today the Chief Minister has launched this scheme, this CGDMSE. So now the state government has decided to pay the annual fees to register with that authority, CGDMSE, which provides coverage up to 95%, 85 to, in some cases, 90% of the loans. So any bank giving a loan, it turns that this authority, which is called CGDMSE, will pay to the bank up to 85% of the loan amount. Now this was not being done. So now the state government has decided that because annual fees to register against this was required. So the state government has decided. So now, for this current financial year, what will happen is, state government has kept aside 3.5 crores, and it is available to cover all SMSC loans of up to 50 lakhs. MSME loans.
The portfolio 1,100.
Yeah. So, and that will cover the total loan amount of 1,400 and
1,137.
1,137 crores. Anyway, Mr. Rennie is here. He's the joint secretary. He has soft copies. He will share it with you.
One more thing that I want to brief you about is that in this meeting, uh, 3 launches were made. One was the annual credit plan for 24-25 was launched by the Honorable Chief Minister. He also launched a loan tracking ecosystem, which is an app which will actually have all the information about the loan applications, and it will have connectivity with the banks also. And the launch of the state-sponsored collateral-free loans, just mentioned, the CGTMSE, that CGTMSE will cover the loans, and that is how they will become collateral-free. So these are the 3 launches made by the Honorable Chief Minister. There were 2 MOUs also exchanged. One MOU is on Chief Minister's life insurance scheme, which has been launched, and this MOU has been done with the Tata AIG. If you want more details about the Chief Minister's life insurance scheme, that will also be provided. Then there was another exchange of MOUs with regard to the police accidental insurance. So the entire police force, more than 25,000 police personnel, they will be covered under this scheme, and insurance up to 75 lakh will be available in case of any accidental death of any police person. So these are some of the highlights.
Well, you see, he'll give it to you in soft copy. Everything is there. It's this thick, okay? So you can eat it, ask for your convenience. I think we are all hungry. That's why we eat.
Just one, for argument's sake, just coming back to the allegation. So there's this allegation that the banks are making it more and more difficult for borrowers to obtain loans financing. While the banks are blaming it on non-performing assets, how do you put it? The borrowers are not returning, are not paying back. So whom do we blame? I mean, did you also discuss it?
See, as Chief Secretary said, today's meeting was taken at the level of the Chief Minister. It's a high-level meeting, so issues are discussed more or less at the policy level. Of course, issues were raised by the public, the business community, they were also there, including commissioners also. But, we have not really gone into that. This will be followed up by the respective deputy commissioners and also the respective state-level bankers committee, which is held every quarter. Now, here, let me just give you a perspective. See, banks will always give returns. Half of what they say might be true. Similarly, public will say that we are not getting loans because banks are not giving. But then maybe there's another side to it also. It might be half true. Sometimes the public will not give proper, forms, information, certificates, and so on. Then you see, I hope things change, but we people in Nagaland were also in the habit of thinking that loans are not to be repaid. So this was again one factor that was leading to non-repayment and then loans turning back. So given this situation, if you remember last assembly in the budget, our Honorable CM also had mentioned that, had appealed to the public that when loans are taken, it is meant to be repaid. If there are defaulters, then most of a few defaulters, others again, who are real genuine and defaulters who need capital to invest, they find their doors closed. So he had made an appeal that we Nagas must learn to work hard, and since for business credit is necessary, we must take loans, but at the same time repay. Now we are also engaging with the banks. So now, as Chief Secretary has said, the government is taking steps so that government now on behalf of loans up to 50 lakhs, paying the annual fees so that the loan is covered under this CGTMSE coverage. So now we are moving, it's a two-pronged strategy, right? And I hope that, you see, this is the first time I think in so many years that the bankers meet has been chaired at the level of our Chief Minister. And we are hopeful that, things will improve, and hopefully in the days to come, the public will have easier access to loans.
Actually, I would say that a good beginning has been made. And you see, there were representatives from the corporate offices of banks. So many a time, they may not be getting the actual picture since they were being fed by their own people. So since they were there in this meeting today, we are hoping that they have got a better idea of the ground situation. And my hope is that definitely some improvement will come with all these initiatives. So I think we can close the press conference. That handout will be given. Thank you so much.